Right, so on a day like today, Mike McCarthy gets hired yesterday. Greg Jennings played with McCarthy forever. I don't think there's an analyst at any network, I know there's not, that knows Mike McCarthy better than Greg Jennings, who joins us via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. All right, so let's start with this. So I imagine you like the move. Here's my concern, and tell me where I'm wrong. Coaches, Greg, all have a certain DNA. Pete Carroll, it's defense and run the ball. Andy Reid, it's develop quarterbacks and passing game. McCarthy, very much about technique, mechanics, offense. He likes to throw the ball. He did not develop great running games in Green Bay. He bailed on a lot of them. And they have Zeke. Is that a fair assessment or concern about Mike McCarthy?
It's a fair assessment. I wouldn't classify it as a concern, and here's why. If you look at Green Bay and his time in Green Bay, he never had a running back that equates to an Ezekiel Elliott. We just never did. Amon Green was there Mike's first couple years, and then Amon Green was gone, and then after that, it was kind of a revolving door.
Yeah.
But what he did do, it wasn't so much of a bail on the running game. It was implementing run-pass options to where there was quick hits that supplemented for the run, the lack of the run. So we had so many skill guys get the ball out to the perimeter where we viewed it as like a toss, a 90 sweep or 91 sweep, whatever you want to call it. Quick smoke screens, get the ball in quick perimeter hands, let them do their job, get 5-6 yards. It was almost like a run play, and it was something that was built into our offensive scheme. So it wasn't like he just completely bailed. We never really had an established run game. He always wanted to establish it, but let's face it, our weapons and our damage was done with the guys we had on the perimeter and with the quarterbacks that we had underneath the center.
Now, the other criticism is, it is amazing when you take a year off. It's like what they say about art. The longer Picasso was gone, the more valuable the art. Mike McCarthy, the day he got fired, we were all banging on him for being, stale. And then a year later, we're all like, oh, this is a great hire. Let's talk about the stale rap on him, that it wasn't progressive. He's kind of got his own way of doing things. Address that, because I heard a lot of that when he left Green Bay.
Okay, so when people say stale, like I was there. I was birthed into that offensive system, and it grew stale to someone who was birthed in it. So for Aaron Rodgers to go to those meetings every single year and the install be the same, the language be the same, everything was always the same and nothing really changed. There was no wrinkles here or there. It was just what it was. You're going to the dinner table, it's going to be steak and potatoes. There's not going to be any extra little seasonings. It's going to be the same thing every single time. It works. Eat it. That was what we had. Now, we implemented little wrinkles when it came to what we saw different teams have success with. But as far as scheming and strategically making sure he took advantage of one-on-one matchups, whether it be with a tight end or a running back or a wide receiver, and just putting in plays for specific individuals, that was something that Mike McCarthy didn't do as much as we thought or wanted him to do, which is why Aaron Rodgers alluded to, and people like myself alluded to, the offense growing stale. Now, it didn't mean that it didn't work.
Right.
But it was something that was like, dude, can we switch it up a little bit? Now, for someone else, like a Dak Prescott in this team, offensively, they're going to think it's brilliant. Why? Because it's new. It's different. He could go there with the same scheme and we could see it, but it might look a little different. I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll add to his repertoire, which is why we've seen the Mike McCarthy project, which I applaud him for. It's impressive when a coach realizes, okay, this is why I may have had a departure. Let me address it. Let me not be stubborn. Let me address it. Doesn't mean what you did didn't work. As you put up those stats, those numbers offensively don't lie. The Green Bay Packers are not uberly just better than what they were with Mike McCarthy now that he's gone. They were better with, but they're winning. Why? It's a different voice, a different messenger, a different head of household, if you will.
Yeah. Let me, what did you like about, let's talk about him as a communicator. And I think I was the first national guy that said this a lot. I'm like, I think Aaron's difficult. I think he's brilliant, but I don't think he's always the easiest guy to coach. So a lot of people, you're not going to fire Aaron Rodgers, so you fire the coach. Talk to me and tell my audience, Greg, about Mike the communicator. What did you like? What maybe could be a problem? Because I'm not behind those doors.
He is a great communicator. From day one, he allows guys and brings guys in and wants their input and wants them to understand his point of view, but he also wants to listen to yours. And it happens when you establish yourself as someone that he can depend on and that he realizes you're going to be a huge component to our success. Once he realizes that and once he knows that, and going into Dallas, he's identified those guys already, and he will bring them in, and they will have input, and he will communicate why we're going to be successful and how we're going to be successful. And why I like this hire for Dallas is because although Dak Prescott hasn't signed a contract with the Dallas Cowboys, we're all pretty certain that he will. They both have something to prove. Dak Prescott had his best season individually as a quarterback in this league last year, but it didn't equate to wins. Mike McCarthy got outed because his style wasn't equating to wins. They both have something to prove. Both of their methods work. Now, them working together, one is going to listen very well and absorb, and the other is going to listen very well and absorb, because it was something that he was told, I didn't do really well, or it was hard. It was a challenge because of who I had at the quarterback position, because of how he was able to establish himself as an elite quarterback in this league.
You know, it's funny. I like Matt Rhule going to Carolina because he's been a head coach at two places, and you can be a smart guy, but I don't want you taking over an NFL team and learning how to be a head coach. There's a big gap. Norv Turner's a great coordinator. Wade Phillips is a great coordinator. It never quite made the head coaching transition. So Joe Judge, my guys I called this morning, they're like, he's super smart, but I watched the Patriots wide receivers. N'Keal Harry almost feels like a bust. Mohamed Sanu didn't work as fast as I thought. I can blame everybody else, but it's his unit. Boy, he has never been a head coach. He'd never even been an offensive or a defensive coordinator, and now it's New York City. Holy mackerel, that's a big leap. Are you concerned about that working?
I am concerned, and I'll go from this perspective as a player. Number one, when I first heard of the hiring, I had to ask, honestly, who is Joe Judge? And so as a player, I'm being honest, Colin, and I'm an analyst. I probably should have known it, but then again, I shouldn't have. But when you look within the locker room, and that is the first thought that players are going to have, who? That's just not a good look coming into an organization that has struggles and is on the growing side of things. They're trying to establish themselves. It's almost like he's coming in there, again, with no credibility.
Right.
He's from the New England tree, and all of a sudden you automatically assume, let's just plug him in because he might bring some of that Belichick pedigree. Well, like you've alluded to, we've seen Belichick guys go, and they've not all had success. I don't personally like the hire, but I didn't like the Daniel Jones pick as well, and I'm starting to like a little bit of Daniel Jones now.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Listen, all this stuff is very interesting. Nobody has the answers. I mean, I would have never guessed Tom Coughlin, out of Boston College would have been this good. So, Pete Carroll had been fired twice, goes to USC, comes back, and, so who knows? It's a lot to go from wide receiver coach to New York Giants head coach. Greg Jennings been subbing all week on First Things First, doing an amazing job for us at Fox Sports. Thanks, buddy.
I appreciate it.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.